profession has changed more in the past 18 months than in the previous 5 to 10 years, and that the rate of change is unlikely to slow at any stage in the future. The role of the accountant is evolving rapidly. What clients demand today is radically different than it was 10 years ago. Many accountants I talk to feel like they're sprinting to stand still, struggling to keep up to date with all the technological and regulatory changes. And amongst all this, possibly one of the most important and fundamental changes is continuing to build rapidly in the background. That's the changing nature of relationship between accountants and their clients as they move from number cruncher to business advisor, from compiler of financial statements to strategic coach, from box ticker to business growth guide. Now, this certainly isn't something that's going to happen all of a sudden. However, the trend is clear. One way or another, the profession now widely acknowledges the need to get started with advisory services for clients and prospects. And of course, that's in parallel with hyper-efficient, digitally based compliance services. But many questions remain unanswered, and in some cases, not even asked. My name is Micheál O'Neill, and I'm delighted to welcome you to this video series where I answer the 10 big questions about advisory services. These are the questions that I get asked by my clients in Ireland on a regular basis, and also the questions that my colleagues in the UK, US, Canada, and Africa get asked. So let's get started with today's question. Question 4, don't I have to become an expert? So this is another question that we get on a very regular basis. And it's understandable because so much of what we do as a profession is based on expertise. It's based on knowledge. And it can seem like a big step to becoming this advisor. I think in certain ways, it's nearly been built up more than it actually is necessary. But here's the great news. No, you do not have to become an expert. Yes, if you're looking at getting into very specific areas in consulting, absolutely, you have to become an expert in that area. However, the true beauty of advisory is that actually, no, you don't have to become an expert. Largely, as accountants, we're nearly already blessed with all the skills, talents, expertise, and knowledge that we need. We might not recognize it, we might not actually, think it, but from working with accountants for so long, I know it's actually true. It's all about identifying the client's goals and plans. And the best advisors are the people who don't jump in and tell the clients what to do and try to force their expertise on it. The best advisors sit back, let the client come up with what it is their goals, their aspirations, their plans are. Now, don't for 1 second think that I'm saying that your technical skills are not needed. That is an absolute critical part of the implementation plan, but it's not the solution itself. And the beautiful thing is, if there are specific areas where you have, where you truly are an expert, well then you provide the advisory. The advisory identifies the issues, the problems. And let's say there's a specific area, it could be, let's say, management accounting. So there's a good one. At the moment, well, most accountants can do management accounting of some part, but the actual interpretation of management accounts, that is a skill, that is a talent, and to be able to map for businesses, run all the ratios and do it, that is actually a skill. Now, you might deploy those skills during the advisory overall process, but that's not where you start. That's not where you identify. And the beautiful thing is, if that's not an area of expertise, what you need to do is you actually need to identify other providers who can provide it on your behalf or other people where you can direct your clients to. Now, to say that there's no skill required, well, that's not exactly true, because one of the key skills that's needed is facilitation. However, I truly believe that the vast majority of accountants have already have the majority of skills that are needed in order to deliver advisory. You know, there are 10 reasons why you're the perfect advisor. And these really play true to me every time I see it. First of all, there's trust. As accountant, as financial, as the person who has a financial acumen and a relationship on an ongoing basis with your client, it is unquestionable that your client trusts you. A trusted relationship will help them open up more. It will make them, be more forthcoming with and laying out exactly what's on their mind, exactly what's, in their head, exactly what is in their business. Point two, why you're a perfect advisor. Care. We have worked with thousands of accountants, and I have yet to come across an accountant who didn't genuinely care about the success of their clients. To be honest, it's one of the main reasons why, I and OmniPro are so passionate about accountants, because, it's unquestionable the benefits that they can bring to business owners. But more than anything else, it's the caring part. Accountants, by and large, care deeply about the success of their actual clients. Number three, you have real financial acumen. Now, I don't want this to be taking a shot at any other profession or any other group of people, but it does deeply upset me when you see clients of accountants who truly understand the inner workings of that client's business, who know the financial drivers, who understand exactly what's happening behind the scenes on it. When those clients go to somebody else who does not necessarily have the same level of understanding and financial acumen that you have, and they're willing to go and spend large amounts of money, freely with these other people who are not as well positioned as you to deliver advisory. That's one that really, really, really gets me, because I see it day in, day out. I see the challenges that accountants have with, running bills. So they look, so it comes, you're looking at all your WIP and you're going, oh, we can't possibly charge this. We're going to have to knock X amount off the top. And we're just building that despite what's on the clock. Whereas from an advisory perspective, clients truly value your input and there is no fee haggle when it comes to it. Point four, you can run meetings. It's unquestionable. You run meetings, that's part of what you do. It's part of your bread and butter day in, day out. You know how to keep meetings efficient. You know how to keep people on track. You know about, setting an agenda and moving people through it. You love processes as well. And the beauty, so much of accountancy is process. And the fact is, advisory should be no different. You should have advisory processes for everything that you do. And in following, that's when I mention the difference between structured and unstructured advisory. Really the difference is having processes that back up your advisory approaches. Accountants, I think, are curious by nature. Part of it is the training you get. Part of it is what nearly attracts you to the actual profession. And so much of being an advisor is actually about asking the questions. You have commercial acumen. You know how the world works. You have, however many clients you have, you've seen that number of businesses, what has worked, what hasn't worked. What works out there for, businesses in the same industries. You can bring your knowledge to bear from your experience, from all your training, from everything you've seen, every other client you've worked with. You can bring that into the fold with, each one of the clients that you provide advisory to. By and large, accountants are good listeners. Now, the challenge is to allow yourselves to listen, because The other part, which is, kind of point 9 here, which is problem solver, very often for accountants, the problem solver kicks in too soon. So you hear a client say something and immediately you snap back with the answer. Well, this is what you need to do. So accountants are good listeners, but what they need to do is they need to contain their problem-solving ability, so to give themselves an opportunity to actually listen and hear what the client is saying. Because very often, it's not the first, the second, third, or fourth thing out of the client's mouth, which is the actual, what I would say, the core or the true truth of the circumstance. Sometimes it takes people to filter, to drop down layers and levels and to actually get it out of their own mind and to verbalize it concisely. There's no question, it's undoubtable that accountants by and large are problem solvers. Remember what I said, clients love having problems solved, but they don't like having problems. And it's a perfect match if you can come in and obviously, when you identify what problems they have, you being able to make them go away. And obviously, by and large, the majority of accountants are financially driven. And advisory is unquestionably one of the best routes for a firm to become more profitable and to become more and generate larger revenues. So that is question 4 on our 10-part answering the 10 big advisory questions video series. In this one I've answered, don't I have to become an expert? If you haven't seen the first 3 in the series, please do go find them and take a look down through it. And make sure keep an eye out for the remaining 6 that are coming later on in this series. So from me, thank you very much for listening. See you again soon.